In your business, a big decision needs to be made. People have to collaborate on the solution, but they come at things from different perspectives. How can you make that process a success? Hi, I'm Ken Okel. I'm a professional speaker. I talk to audiences about ways you can improve your performance on the job, and I pull from a background that includes broadcast news, hurricane relief, and professional ballet. Yeah, I know, unusual combination. In each and every field, though, I had to perform at a high level every day. This can happen to a lot of organizations. You have to make a big decision about the future. The stakes are high. You need everybody to give input and hopefully come up with a decision that can work for everyone. I want to illustrate this process, how it can work well. I'm going to use a fun example from the world of professional ballet. Come with me behind the scenes. I worked at a ballet company as an executive director. I was in charge of the business operations for the ballet company. Was not a dancer. Want to make that very clear. We faced a challenge with our most popular show. This is from Act 1 of The Nutcracker, a show I think a lot of people know. This part of it has about 20 ballerinas dancing in a snowstorm. Except that's not snow that's falling down. Because snow has a few problems when it comes to dance. It is wet, slippery, and cold. None of those things mix well with dance. We had to find something to create this magnificent spectacle. We had to find something that looked like snow, but wasn't snow. Something that was fake snow. Back then, it was a challenge finding something that could work. There are lots of confetti-like products in the marketplace, but most of them are described in terms of how they fall down through the air rather than what they do on the ground. This was a challenge because we wanted to have this effect in the show. We had 12 performances, so we needed to buy a lot, and we needed to make sure we made the right decision. Otherwise, it could be a very costly mistake. So what happened? Our prop master, he went out into the marketplace, found a few samples of things that might work. So we got a small little bag of each one. We then gathered all sorts of department leaders in the ballet company into one of our rehearsal rooms. We got a couple dancers, and then for all practical purposes, we auditioned the fake snow. Back then, I shot some video of this process. Why don't we go to that right now? We are going into one of our rehearsal rooms. Our prop master has put down some of the potential fake snow on the floor. We then have two of our more experienced ballerinas dance through the piles and see if it feels slippery. Can they do the same moves? I know this may look a little low tech, but it was a great way to make sure we were buying the right thing. It was very important to have everyone in the same room seeing this process because we wanted to make sure the decision-making process, that journey, had transparency, that people felt like no information was being withheld from them. This was important as well because in this type of decision-making process, you need to make sure that all voices are being heard. For instance, from my perspective, on the business side, I am thinking very much about the cost of the fake snow. I'm like, hey, let's buy the cheapest stuff we can find because the lower our expenses, the higher the profits. That's a good thing. Someone who's more on the artistic side, those people, they might be thinking about the audience perspective. What will be the most beautiful snow on the stage? Because we want the spectacle to be good. That will bring people back to this performance year after year. I mean, that makes sense as well. Finally, there was the perspective of the dancers. Their main concern, safety, because they want to make sure that they're not hurt during the performance. And that does make sense because we don't want them to get hurt. And if we have to replace a dancer, that's very hard at their level because they're world class. So what went into this process? Well, beyond the things I already mentioned, you want to make sure that you have a shared main goal. You want to hear all the voices, all the concerns, but then can you come together and decide this is the factor, the number one thing that will help us make a decision? In this case, perhaps it's a little obvious, but we wanted to make sure that whatever we bought would be safe for the dancers. That was the top concern we had. So that when we put on those 12 shows, it looked fantastic. Nobody was hurt. Safety. We all agreed on it. Think about in your organization. Can you reach that shared main goal that will make it easier to make an important decision? Let me recap the process for you. You want to make sure there's a defined problem. Everyone agrees on what the challenge you are facing is. This is important. Really make sure you've narrowed it down. Hear all voices. Make sure people are able to give their feedback on what they think would be the best next step. You're listening to it. You want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to say what they think. Ensure that there is transparency in this process. Have you ever been part of a decision-making process where at a certain point in time they said, Ken, you can leave the room? Whoa, that makes you feel like you're missing out, or perhaps that you weren't valued. So make sure the decision-making process is transparent to all. Then I want you to agree on that shared main goal. What is that thing that should be the top consideration as we make that decision? In the ballet example, it was safety. And finally, make the decision. Commit to the course of action. You don't want to be in a situation where you've defined a problem, you know the challenges, but you do nothing. No, make a decision. I hope you've benefited from this kind of fun example of how you can improve your decision-making process. This happens a lot in companies and also organizations that have to work together. Decision-making can be a challenge, but I think this process can help you out. You want to find out more about me? Again, my name's Ken Okel. Go to my website to read more articles, watch some more video clips, and check out my podcast. That is all happening at kenokel.com. Shoot me an email. My email address is tvguy@kenokel.com. And of course, you are welcome to connect with me on all the social channels. Those are all under my name, Ken Okel. Hope this has been a beneficial presentation for you. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.